We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. British Fist!
Catching!
I am Mr. Parkin. This is none other than NJ sitting next to me.
What's up?
And in case you haven't realised, I lost the bet to wear the Christmas jumper on the Q&A. So welcome to another Q&A. And you can ask us some questions in the comment section below. And please leave any comments about this jumper and its pingly nose out of the comment section and just don't bother. We're going to start off with a question from MoneyMats. Where is WWE as far as its direction 2015? If they never went public in 2001, in your guys' opinion? Okay, so I imagine... So if WWE didn't go public in 2001... what would the direction be like now? It's very hard to say, isn't it? I mean, in this PC society, it wouldn't have been so long before they went public anyway. I mean, Vince McMahon has gotten a lot of benefits from going public, so I don't think it would be too much different. I mean, it's very, very hard to tell with these things. You just don't know. For all we know, they may have gone out of business if they never went public.
I think if it didn't happen in 2001, it would have happened in 2002.
Yeah, you're probably right there, NJ. But I mean, Money Matt, it's very hard for us to really predict. I mean, it's just there's so many different factors in there, and you just again very hard to predict. I mean, even though they went public after 2001, they still had a somewhat decent product. I mean, it's only until recently the product has gotten so bad that it's forced a lot of hardcore wrestling fans to stop watching it. So that was years ago. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're saying here is, necessarily, the problem. I think going public, of course, has affected the WWE in the sense that it's now more of a business. But that's not necessarily a bad thing in the sense that Vince McMahon is going to want to make as much money from it as possible. Robert Hernandez. What if they did a storyline where Seth Rollins remains champion till WrestleMania, but during the Royal Rumble, both Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose both co-win the Rumble, so they both fight Rollins in a triple threat match at WrestleMania?
The first thing I want to know about, forget about the injury, they wouldn't really have a double winner, because Vince McMahon would have restarted the finish, like they did with Cena and Batista, until they got a clear winner.
They did a double winner with Bret Hart and the narcissistic one, Lex Luger. I believe it was 1994, I can't remember what year it was, but I remember they both won the Rumble, and Lex Luger lost to Yokozuna, and then Bret Hart beat Yokozuna in the main event. That's probably the kind of thing that Robert is going for here. As for these three guys in a triple threat match, I mean, it wouldn't main event. That's all I'll say about that. And generally speaking, you want your WWE Championship match to main event the show. And I just can't see WWE having this. I just can't see WWE making this the main event. And generally speaking, WWE wants their main events for the WWE Championship to be singles matches. So that's why I don't see them doing this, and I don't see them doing the co-winner, especially if it involves Roman Reigns. So they're going to want to make us look as strong as possible going into WrestleMania, as we've seen by the fact that he's won the WWE World Championship already.
I'm not going to take away this possible match, but at this year's Mania, unlikely. But I still see them somehow forming a triple threat big pay-per-view match.
At some point down the line, maybe a SummerSlam or a Survivor Series, just not necessarily a WrestleMania in my opinion. Of course, right now, Seth Rollins is injured. Even if he was injured, even if he wasn't injured, I'm not sure this would be the right timing to do this kind of thing. I think you just got to have one guy win the Rumble and then do it that way. I think co-winning a Rumble doesn't really make either of the guy look strong, to be honest. So, I don't know. Cricket Sam 64. Do you see AJ Styles ever returning to TNA? I mean, they offered him, I think they reduced his pay or something, so if he's earning more money on the independent scene and having a lot more fun wrestling and maybe he's spending more time with his family, I don't know. But if it's better for him to be in the independent scene, then he's going to stay in the independent scene. He's not going to return to TNA unless they're going to give him some massive contract.
I will admit something.
What's that?
I watched the ROH pay-per-view.
What, Best in the World?
I watched it.
Was it anywhere near as bad as Best in the World 2011, where it was Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards in a crappy Kung Fu shit match?
I thought this was brilliant, especially AJ Styles versus Lethal. Hands down, I love what they do with AJ Styles. So for him to come to TNA, I don't think he's going to.
NJ, do me a favour, and this is a Christmas wish. Don't turn into an ROH bot, please, because I can't stand ROH bots.
No.
Also, do you think AJ Styles will take his rightful place in the TNA Hall of Fame? No, and that's simply because, he would be a very good candidate for the TNA Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how TNA would bring the guy back to put him in the TNA Hall of Fame. I'm just not. There's no leverage there for TNA to put him in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure, number one, why they would do it, and why AJ Styles would want to do it.
I'm not sure what the relationship is like with AJ Styles and TNA now. Maybe it's likely they could have him back for a special, but I don't think it's likely, especially with him now moving further and further away.
And I'm not sure that it would really excel his career a lot by having him have something to do with TNA again, going back to that well, so to speak. So I don't think it will happen. RFV089. Mr. Parkin, what advice would you give for me on how to approach coursework at university? Okay, start it early, do it in stages, do as much as you can in terms of the word count. So if it's 2,000 words, it's plus or minus 10%, so do 2,199 words. Use plenty of references from books because university markers seem to like that. I found that out the hard way. So that's the best advice I can give you regarding coursework. Take it steady. Do it in pieces. Make sure you read it through. Check it for grammar and spelling mistakes, and also do synonyms as well to make it sound better. And please, please reference the work correctly because they're very, very strict on that. With yet another mass shooting in America, what are your thoughts on the gun rights in the US? I've never really had an opinion on this, but I will gauge one for this Q&A. I've never been a massive gun person. I can understand why people think that guns are the way forward and why guns are useful in protecting yourselves. I do understand that. But when you have mass shootings on the kind of scale that America has, you kind of do have to think to yourself, why are they not revisiting the gun laws? I mean, in the UK here, how many mass shootings do we have here in the UK with these gun laws? When was the last time you heard like a mass shooting in the UK on the news? I don't watch the news very often. I don't remember. I mean, I think that says a lot, really. And I'm so surprised that someone in American politics has not tried a bit harder to do something about this. And maybe their hands are a little bit tied. I don't know. But you would imagine by now that something should be done about the gun rights in the US. It is just, in my opinion, it's just very, very ridiculous.
I know it's all about the safety of citizens in the United States, but with this going on and with it having a bad viewership of the law in the United States, I personally feel that only certain people should be allowed guns. It shouldn't be able to be brought or given to people. I think only special people should be able to have guns.
Do you expect wrestling to decline in the next couple of years like it has been in the last few years? Let's look at it this way. Rating, I know that Raw where Reigns won the title got nearly 4 million viewers, and that is a pretty good number for the WWE right now. But lately, you look at the ratings from last year to this year, and they're down very highly. You look at that Raw they did in the UK. I think last year it was a 2.8. This year it was a 2.1. Things are dramatically declining for the WWE. And it's getting to the point where you're starting to think, wow, if they go below a 2 rating, then what's going to happen? But I think with the lack of, they're not going to be able to go back to these part-time characters as much in the next couple of years' time. And a couple of years' time, they're going to have to make a big decision over Vince McMahon, who we will actually be talking about in the next question on here. And then there's going to be a lot of teething with perhaps Triple H or Stephanie coming in. It's going to be an important time for the WWE in deciding not just their direction, but who is going to take them in that direction.
The way I'm seeing this is the network is what's really saving or working well in Vince's mind. He's got that. He's getting enough income and stuff from that. Yes, the viewership's down, but I think, I could be wrong, Vince is looking at how well the network is gradually doing. But at some point, I think it's going to come to the ratings being at a point where many TV and stations are complaining about this, and Vince is going to have to do something to push that up, even though I don't feel it's going to be anytime soon.
At the end of the day, the less people that are watching WWE, the less money they're going to be able to get out of advertisers, and the less money they're going to get from the USA Network. So from a business standpoint, even at this point, they've got to be thinking about something to do. they got their big rating in that Roman Reigns title win. But the question is now, can they keep that 3.8 million viewers? And, do you really think WWE can keep those 3.8 million viewers? I mean, going into WrestleMania season, perhaps. But it'll be interesting. I'll tell you what, it'll be very interesting to see the ratings for WWE going into WrestleMania. If the WrestleMania ratings aren't over 3, then there's a problem.
This is precisely why, when everyone was raving about Roman Reigns finally being champion, a little ratings increase, and I was like, people, you're biting onto this too soon. It only happened within TLC to that Raw. You're excited. You've got to think, now it's happened, how are they going to continue all your excitement and happiness from that Raw going forward? I personally, I could be slapped in the face in a couple of months' time. I don't think it's going to stay that way.
And the most important thing here is, can they actually keep the interest up in Roman Reigns as the champion? And do you have any confidence that they will do that?
No.
Neither do I. Here we go. Yes or no, 5 years from now, will Vince McMahon still be the owner of WWE?
No.
I think he will. I just can't see him stepping away. I really can't see him. I mean, I know there's a lot going around that Triple H and Stephanie are going to take over, and they've pretty much taken over the authority role on TV, but I just can't see Vince McMahon, as stubborn as he is, stepping away from the WWE. I just can't see it.
This is pushing 5 years, and I think unless Triple H's job role changes to something a bit higher than what he already is, I still think in 5 years, because that's still another 5 years, and it could happen in the WWE that needs to push someone higher up, and I think Triple H will do it.
Jersey 12361. Mr. Parkin, what are your thoughts on the Premier League season, and what team will win the Capital One Cup?
The blue one.
I've lost interest in the Capital One Cup ever since Manchester United went out to Middlesbrough on a penalty shootout, so I'm not going to give any opinions on that, unfortunately. I don't even know who's in the semis. Don't know. What about my thoughts on the Premier League season? Well, it's been a bit of an exciting season, hasn't it? I mean, we've seen Leicester go top of the league at Christmas. We've seen, no one really grasping the Premier League title from those top 4 teams. We've seen Chelsea faltering to the point where they're sacking Jose Mourinho, one of the best managers in the world, and where they're down near the relegation places. We're seeing teams like Watford playing really well. We're seeing teams like Stoke playing really well. We're seeing teams like West Ham up there. Everton have started to kick on. This has been one of my favourite Premier League seasons, in the sense that no one really knows what's going to fucking happen. I mean, Leicester are top of the league. When are Man City going to mount a challenge for the title now? When are the top 4 going to grasp their position on the league? What's going to happen with Man United? They've not won, I believe, in the last 6 or 7 competitive games. It's been a very thought-provoking Premier League season, in my opinion, one of the best yet. And the only thing that can really top that is if we have an ending as good as that one where City won in the last minute against QPR to win it. Type 1. Which one of these matches do you believe would have a good chance to be the main event of WrestleMania? Reigns versus Cena, Reigns versus Lesnar 2, Bryan versus Lesnar, Orton versus Lesnar, Rock and Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie. Well, we can eliminate Bryan versus Lesnar. That's not going to happen.
And Orton.
We can eliminate Orton versus Lesnar. That's never going to be it. I mean, WWE have never really seen Orton as a WrestleMania main eventer, in my opinion. Reigns versus Lesnar is a possibility, because Reigns is going against the Authority, and Lesnar could be brought back as part of the Authority. They can always do that with Brock Lesnar, and it's not like they've ever shied away from doing WrestleMania main events twice in a row. We've seen Rock versus Cena and Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Not main events in a way, but they've been big headline matches.
Even though there is the rumour and story going around that Lesnar could possibly come back and make the biggest match for Reigns, I think the fact is we've already had, even though you could say, but Seth Rollins was in the final, I wouldn't really want to see Lesnar Reigns just yet. So
you think Reigns versus Cena is the best candidate to reign at WrestleMania then?
As much as I don't want to say it's a match we have not seen, Cena's been out of the... I can't be complimenting this. Cena's been out of the title picture probably out of the title picture and champion for a while. So I think, forget about the Rock thing, because I think Triple H and Reigns is possibly going to happen. If not the Rumble Mania, so I'm going to have to give it to Cena.
Yeah, I think Reigns versus Cena. I mean, Cena's obviously the top guy in the WWE. Reigns is the next big thing that WWE want, out of their characters. So don't be surprised if Cena comes back and somehow maybe wins the Rumble or something, and then challenges Roman Reigns for the WWE title. I mean, you never know. I think either Reigns versus Lesnar 2 or Reigns versus Cena, they're the two most likely scenarios for the WrestleMania main event, to be honest, and that is saying a lot. Do you think that the Shield would reunite in the near future? I think they're kind of like DX in the sense that, at some point down the road, I think they will reunite when the time is right and when they, kind of gone away from Roman Reigns being in the main event and everything like that. So I think they could possibly reunite in the near future. Maybe I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it in the next year or two, but maybe in 3 or 4 years, I think they could do a reunion, but not anywhere soon. I think they need to establish them as singles guys first, and then when they get to the point where they've kind of done everything, then they can reunite back as the Shield, and people will be excited about it.
My biggest problem with reuniting the Shield is they're going to continue the big 6-man tag matches, and I think we need to pull away from them for a while. So I think, yes, give it a few years, show teasers of it happening, and then bam.
Pretty much. Renegade Man 83. Thoughts on Asuka? I'm sorry, I've really pronounced that name wrong. Asuka and Nia Jax debuting on NXT.
Oh, wow.
I've seen Nia Jax. I haven't seen much of Asuka. I know she's Japanese.
Oh.
But I think it's nice that they've got some new blood in the NXT Divas division or Women's division, especially after they brought up Bayley. Not Susie, not Bayley. Especially after they brought up Charlotte, Paige, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. They needed some more girls in there to really spice things up. So I'm glad they bring in new divas or new women such as Asuka and Nia Jax in. I've seen Nia Jax, and she is massive, isn't she?
I want to compliment NXT London. Asuka, her versus Emma, such a brilliant match, and I like how the WWE have made Asuka a lot different to the divas we've got now. She's got the music, the Titantron, she's got the face paint, all this, the mask and stuff. They've put a lot of concentration on her. Emma's improved, so I like that. And Nia Jax, it seems the WWE and probably wrestling in general have had problems with the big dominant divas, the big ones. So I'm hoping different for Nia Jax, but from NXT London, it looks like they're safe on NXT, but looking forward from what I've read for them to come to the main roster.
Yeah, good luck with that one. Do you see Cesaro being a mid-carder for the rest of his WWE career? Yes, we do. I'm not sure why anyone would see Cesaro as a main eventer at this time, especially now he's injured.
This really sucks because as much as I'm going to say Cesaro is going to be in tag team, mid-card, or at least against main eventers occasionally to make fans happy and excited, I sadly don't see him being a stable competitor in the main event scene, even though he's got a fan base, fans like him, and he's someone that fans are going to keep wanting to see a push of some sort from him.
Yeah, but you just know WWE are never, ever going to push the guy. Especially now he's injured as well, and especially with the fact that he's Swiss or whatever the fuck they're saying. He's not going to be he's going to be a mid-carder, and he's going to end up like Dolph Ziggler. He's going to be a mid-carder with maybe the odd occasional head into the main event at times. That's basically what Cesaro's going to do. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Loads of people have made a career out of that, but it would be nice to see the guy just to see how he reacts to being in the main event scene. Will John Cena win the IC Championship? No, I don't. I mean, if he comes back, he's going to want to go after the US Championship and Alberto Del Rio and possibly bigger things. So I don't think that John Cena will win the Intercontinental Championship.
I think the WWE are delaying what fans have been saying for the last 2 years about combining both mid-card championships. I wouldn't say Cena to be the one to chase the IC in the US and combine them. So I'd say when he comes back, we've already mentioned him going to the main event scene for WrestleMania, but that'll be after he's feuded with Del Rio and hopefully lost.
Yeah, or it'll be some DQ or something. Anyway, we'll save our next questions for next week's Q&A. Have a very Merry Christmas, people. We do hope you have a good Christmas. We really do.
And to talk about Christmas, Mr. Parkin, Dan, I would like to give you this.
To Dan,
As
Merry
per-
and Happy Christmas. Who's this from? I gave you yours earlier, didn't I?
You did indeed.
Yeah, it's right there. Right, open it and then we'll read out what it says. Here we go. Mine says, "What's up, Dan? Question mark, exclamation mark. NJ here to wish you a happy Christmas and a happy new year. Enjoy all the magic the days bring going forward. Oh, and one more thing. Ga-ching! Ga-ching fresh! Well, THS there. Go on.
It's Christmas with a penguin on.
Gotta love penguins. He loves
Oh, I
minions,
do.
so he must love penguins.
To NJ. Merry Christmas. Half of the best YouTube channel ever. Ever. That is very true because, you know, other YouTube channels suck. From Dan.
Just Dan, yeah. That's what people call me in the Shire. Okay, Dan, not Mr. Parkin, not Mr. Doo-Doo Head, not Mr. Christmas Jumper, not Mr. British Fist, not blah blah blah. Dan.
Dan.
Bye. Have a good Christmas, and we'll see you before New Year. I think if I got the times right.